Hi guys, welcome back. So today we are going to go into a primer of what is at Walt Disney World. So we're going to talk about all of the four parks and just a basic overview of what is there. So we're going to go into more depth in other videos, but this is just the primer so you get an idea of what everything is, and so that when I'm talking about it later, you have a general idea. So the first park that we're going to talk about is the first park that opened at Walt Disney World, which is located in Orlando, Florida, which was Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom opened in 1971, and it's good to know that when you talk about Magic Kingdom's anniversaries and the Walt Disney World Resort anniversaries, they are the same. So that's why in 2021, we're going to be coming up on the 50th anniversary of Magic Kingdom, but also of the resort as a whole, because that's when Walt Disney World Resort opened up. So Magic Kingdom has 5 main lands, which are Adventureland, Frontierland, Liberty Square, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. You also have Main Street USA, which is the way you get in and out of the park, and it's got shopping and food and that sort of thing. The icon of Magic Kingdom Park is the castle, Cinderella Castle. You see it in all of the promotional material, not just for Magic Kingdom, but for Walt Disney World as a whole. It's really the icon of the resort as a whole, and so you see it on a lot of stuff. So moving on from Magic Kingdom, we're going to go over to Epcot. Epcot opened in 1982, but it actually didn't open the way that Walt Disney had planned. Epcot was one of the last ideas that Walt had before his passing, and it was actually going to be a city. Epcot itself stood for Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. And so that's where the word Epcot actually comes from. If you were ever wondering, where did the word Epcot come from? It was an acronym for the city that Walt wanted to build. And it was this really wonderful, ambitious project. And Walt was very passionate about it. But unfortunately, he passed before Magic Kingdom opened. And so he never got to see Epcot start. And by the time that it did start in 1970s, when they started the plans in 1982, when it opened, it was a vastly different idea at the end than what it originally was. So what we have for Epcot is 2 sections. You've got Future World and World Showcase. Now the idea of this was to show the future prospects of tomorrow and then invoke a sense of, unity and coming together with World Showcase. So they did really try to keep to the message that Walt had with Epcot, but it is just a normal theme park. There isn't a city or anything, unfortunately. A lot of us would have loved to have seen that happen. It would have been incredible, and it probably would have changed a lot about our lives as a whole. But we do have Epcot, which is one of the most groundbreaking, wonderful parks. It is going under some major work right now, and that work is going to be continuing for a while. So you do need to be prepared at Epcot to see a lot of construction. So as I said, you've got Future World, which has different pavilions, like the Land Pavilion, which is all about living with the land, which is a ride in that area. And so you've got different pavilions in Future World, and then you have country pavilions and World Showcase that are different countries. Those countries are Mexico, Norway, China, Germany, Italy, the United States, Japan, Morocco, France, UK, and Canada. I think I even said that in the right order around World Showcase. So it's a wonderful part of the park. It's a very popular part of the park. There's lots of festivals they do in this area, which we'll get in more depth in another video. But just so you've got a general idea of what is offered at Epcot and what you have for your choices there for things to do. So after Epcot opened, the next resort to open was Hollywood Studios in 1989. Hollywood Studios opened as MGM Studios and was meant to be actually a working studio for the Walt Disney Company. They were supposed to record movies there, make movies there, show the public how that worked, and also have themed rides and that sort of other entertainment for guests. Now, this is a similar concept to things like Universal Studios, especially in Hollywood, where they've got their very popular backlot tour where you get to go through and see real movie stages. Now, this idea was eventually scaled back more and more. It also changed names from MGM to Hollywood Studios. It's important to note, if you're watching this after the early part of 2019, Hollywood Studios might have a new name. This has been something that's been rumored for a very long time, that they were going to change the name, and we've heard lots of different rumors about what the new name is going to be. But because the park is going through a major change right now, it is expected that they're going to change the name to reflect that. So the major change that it's going through is that they've really, over the last 5 or 6 years, removed most, if not all, of the stuff that made it a working studio park. They haven't recorded or they haven't filmed a movie at Hollywood Studios for a very long time, but there were still some attractions in the park that still had that feeling to them. And those things have slowly been removed from the park. And the big focus now is that Toy Story Land just opened this couple months ago. And then, of course, the huge thing you probably already know is Star Wars Land is coming. It's going to be called Galaxy's Edge, and it is a just unbelievably massive project. And we are all kind of waiting with anticipated breath for this project to open, because it's going to change a lot of things. It's going to make the parks a lot more crowded. It's expected to have just groundbreaking attendance levels and all of that kind of stuff. And so right now, Hollywood Studios is under a lot of construction. So for most people, it is a half-day park at this point because there isn't a ton to do. So moving on to the last park is Animal Kingdom, which opened in 1998. Animal Kingdom has 4 main areas plus Discovery Island, which is kind of their hub. If you're thinking about Magic Kingdom, where the castle is, they've got that at Animal Kingdom, and they call that Discovery Island. And then you branch out into the different lands. So you've got Dino Land USA, Asia, Africa, and Pandora. So Dino Land USA has obviously a dinosaur theme. They've got a little carnival area and another ride there. Asia is obviously inspired by the continent of Asia with a few rides and animal walkthroughs, and a similar thing with Africa. And then you have Pandora. Pandora opened in the summer of 2017, and it has been a huge deal. Pandora opened with 2 rides, Flights of Passage and Navi River Journey. And Flights of Passage, even still, after over a year after it's opened, it's not uncommon to see a 3 or 4 hour wait for the one ride. It's a huge draw. It is an incredible ride. I was able to do it twice when I went on my honeymoon in May, and it is a really impressive, incredible ride. But it draws huge crowds because of that. So that is something to know, is that Pandora just opened. It's beautiful. It looks straight out of the movies. It's this really stunning land, and it is attracting a lot of crowds. So the other 2 main entertainment areas outside of the main 4 theme parks is you have 2 water parks, which we will go in more in depth about at a later date, but just so that you know what they are. You have Blizzard Beach, which is themed kind of like a ski resort. The story behind it is it's a ski resort, and then all the snow melted, and so it's all set up like a ski resort, but it's a water park now. And then you have Typhoon Lagoon, which is the basic trimmed down story of that is that it was a Caribbean island, and it got hit by a huge hurricane, and so everything's kind of, broken, and there's a big boat on top of a mountain, and that's kind of one of the main parts of theming with it and everything. So they're both very nice water parks. Personally, I prefer Typhoon Lagoon. But like I said, we'll talk about that in a different video. The last main thing to know is Disney Springs. Disney Springs used to be called Downtown Disney. So if you're wondering where Downtown Disney is, it's now called Disney Springs. It has 4 main sections, but pretty much all of it is shopping and amazing food. Disney Springs has opened, I think, at least 10 restaurants in the last couple of years. It has been a massive redevelopment program, and it has turned out absolutely gorgeous. There's a lot of unique stores and also very big name stores. So you've got things like World of Disney, that is one of, with aside from its counterpart in the California parks, the biggest Disney store, in the world. And then you've got things like the Disney Christmas Shop and Goofy's Candy Company. And so you've got a lot of Disney stores. You also have stores like Kate Spade, who do collections with Disney. So they will have Disney merchandise, Disney themed Kate Spade merchandise, but they will also sell their normal Kate Spade products. You also have stores like Columbia, which just sell Columbia clothing. So that is the main portion of what is at Disney Springs. If you used to go to Downtown Disney, you're probably wondering about Disney Quest. Disney Quest closed a few years ago, and for those of you who don't know, it was an indoor themed arcade indoor theme park sort of situation. They had simulator rides and arcade rides and other things like that. And it closed a few years ago and has been torn down, and they are in the process of building a new building there that's going to be the NBA experience, which sounds like it's going to be a fairly similar idea, but with the NBA in there. So we don't have a ton of detail about that yet, but they are working on that new building as we speak. And then the other one is Circus Soleil. Circus Soleil used to have a show called La Nuba. That show has ended its run, and they are currently working on a new show. And the rumor is that it's going to have a lot more Disney characters in it. It's going to be a lot more Disney forward of a show. But right now, as of the end of October of 2018, there is not a show currently running in the Circus Soleil tent, which is at the end of Disney Springs, way on the west side. So that is the Disney Springs complex. There are, of course, golf courses and mini golf courses around Walt Disney World, and you've got a ton of different resorts and campsites and all of that kind of stuff, which sometimes have their own activities and recreational things such as parasailing, boating, fishing, horseback riding, all of that kind of stuff. But that really deserves its own video. This is really just about giving you an introductory idea of what is available to you at the Walt Disney World Resort. And so now you probably understand what I meant when I said you can do a whole trip at Walt Disney World and never leave that Disney bubble we talked about, because there is so much to do. You really don't need to. You can. A lot of people go to Universal, a lot of people go to SeaWorld, go to Discovery Cove, other places around the area, or even go out to some of the beaches on the coasts. But it is very easy to have a trip where you literally never leave the bubble. So that is the introductory video for Walt Disney World and what is offered at that park or at that resort, and giving you just that general overview of what's there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's anything I kind of grazed over that you want more detail about, please leave a comment down below. I'm happy to answer questions down there. Or if I feel like it needs more time, I'll certainly make a video about it. So please, like, comment, share these videos, subscribe, all of that good stuff. So I will see you guys all soon, and have a magical day. Thanks. Bye. Hey guys, I just wanted to apologize. I did mean to get this video out yesterday. Unfortunately, I had some stuff come up and I just didn't get to doing it. And when I did, it just wasn't right. The quality just wasn't right. And I do want to apologize. I am trying to stick to that schedule I said about uploading on Wednesdays and Sundays. And unfortunately, this week, it just didn't happen. So I wanted to thank you guys all for your patience and apologize for this one coming out a day late. So I will see you guys all soon and have a magical day. Thanks. Bye.